And so, like, the second to last reason I wanted to bring up for how sex addictions can form in people is difficulty at maintaining a stable relationship or a long-standing relationship or finding or in general finding a relationship, like difficulty at doing that, like difficulty at like figuring out if or finding any form of relationship to have, like that's like um that's a really big factor for sex addictions because when you struggle so long at finding a relationship like how I have, you lose track of the difference, but you're bound to lose, or at least bound to lose track of the difference between love and lust. I know along the way, I that happened to me, like because of like how many times when I found somebody I liked and then after finding out that they didn't like me back, at least not in the way of a relationship, I was forced to let them go. That happened to me at least two or three times. I mean, maybe technically two, but like still, it was still like both those times can be really tough, and like you compensate for the lack of intimacy, for the lack or a lack of a relationship as a whole by through sex and inform it in your mind, and that can blossom into an addiction. Which brings me to the last point that I wanted to talk about: lack of therapy or really a rehabilitation for for your addiction, because like just this is the easiest one to talk about. lack of Lack of help for your addiction can like make it worse. It can like encourage itself. It can like go on and on and on and just become self-destructive or destructive in general. Well, maybe not self-destructive, but still destructive. And it can like wreak havoc on your and it can wreak and while low self-esteem is caused by a sex addiction in the first place, it can cause an even lower self-esteem. It can only encourage that. Like it makes it worse. Like that's like it's just that simple, that easy to see. And especially when you don't get help for it, like which I highly encourage my viewers to do. That's what I encourage the most out of them. So like just to bring up the points again, the points on like how sex addictions can happen, I'll read this list that I made. Stress, growing slash coming of age issues or fear of speaking out about it, lack of closeness in a family, paranoia, going through abuse, be it emotional, physical, psychological, or sexual, or physical, not knowing how to handle it or keep it in check or control it, not knowing how to control it, loneliness and depression, angst, insecurity, low self-esteem. That's one of the biggest things that I dealt with. Difficulty at maintaining a stable relationship or finding a relationship in general. Again, that's another thing that I've dealt with. Or lack of therapy or rehabilitation. Definitely, those are some really relatable points that I picked up. Oh, that I picked up about it. Like it's really real and really like it's a really real and really serious issue, and I highly recommend anybody else suffering from a sex addiction or struggling with a sex addiction or show signs of struggling with one. I highly advise you to get help, because if you don't, then sex addictions can be self-destructive towards not only themselves but to other people. Like if you don't control it, like you would want to enter a relationship and have the only thing that is on your mind to be sex, because like because your partner is not going to like that, and nobody else is going to like that in general. Like and you wouldn't and if you can't find a relationship, then you wouldn't want to like look for anybody with sex as the only thing on your mind. You want to enjoy life for as it is and not just for sex. That's something that I've definitely struggled with. Like, going, like sex is the only thing on your mind, and you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know. You want to like seek, like, you want to like find an alternative. I mean, my alternative is, my coping mechanism for life and loneliness is through and writing and um interest in the afterlife. Those are two really important things to me. But like, sex addiction is a really serious issue that a lot of people go through. Adolescents, young adults, or even full grown adults. And like, for all these reasons, get help for not only sex addictions, but also this whole list of reasons that I made that details it. Okay? I highly advise my viewers and followers or subscribers or whatever to like get help for it before you become destructive towards other people and even yourself.